I know Fred Ernest wanted to was gonna hang around. He was. Let me get this over to him.
I don't see Ryan Bug.
So, Mr. Moorhead, aren't you happy that the street committee went till after the meeting?
Just overjoyed.
I could tell.
Got nothing better to do in my life, you know.
I've heard that.
I'd have had yours done if Roger hadn't had such a long explanation.
Yeah, we could have got you out of there.
Hey, we are live again.
We're
Gents.
waiting on Ryan Bub at this point.
Yeah. As soon as he pops in, I'll admit him.
I'm happy to just sit in for him if we want to get going.
Give me 30 seconds and I'll take you up on that.
Here he is.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we will reconvene the service committee meeting since the finance committee took so long and forced us to go long. Heck, they're not even here for me to take on. Consider next resolution number 20-62, a resolution authorizing and directing the director of public service to accept bids and sell certain surplus personnel property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring that such property is no longer needed for any municipal purposes and declaring an emergency. Mr. Rhodes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are going to move forward with an auction on October 17th of additional automobiles at the impound lot.
A long time from now, why do you need the emergency clause?
Proper advertisement.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Barker, seconded by Bub. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Up next, ordinance number 20-29, ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of properties in and abutting Fairway Estates subdivision and along Horns Hill Road by upgrading the existing sanitary sewer system and installing a new gravity sewer system and the necessary appurtenances thereto. Mr. Moorhead, we have been waiting and waiting to hear from you. It is your turn.
I'm sure you have. Well, this project, as you know, has been a long time to get to completion. We've got all the final costs determined and the final assessments to the original petitioners has all been determined. One thing I would like to say, well, this piece of legislation levies the assessments to all those property owners. We have also allowed folks not in the original petition to join the assessment voluntarily. And we are, although I put a deadline of last week for them to get their paperwork into me, 3 more dribbled in the mail today. So if you notice on section 1, the total amount of $206,116.60 will change. I will come back to you for an amendment before the council meeting in 3 weeks with that final number that will include all the voluntary assessments as well. There are about 25 potential voluntary assessments, and I think we've got about 17 of them signed up as of right now. So I just let you know that we will have to make an amendment to that dollar amount, but otherwise, this will levy the assessments. And when the legislation is passed by council, then we will give each of the property owners the opportunity to pay the assessment 30 days after the passage of the legislation. And for those that choose not to pay the assessment, it will go on to their property taxes afterwards. Any questions? I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Moorhead. You'll have 5 weeks actually to bring that amendment forward without a emergency clause or waiving a 2-day reading rule. Do we have any questions from anybody?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Bub?
yeah, I will abstain from this.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Mr. Barker,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Harris. Any final questions, comments, or concerns? See none. All those in favor signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. Abstentions?
And I'll abstain.
Very good. This will pass to council with a vote of 4-4 and 1 abstention. That concludes the service committee meeting. Up next, we will have street committee.
All right, so in the interest of time, we're just going to jump into Streets Committee. So I'd like to call this Streets Committee meeting to order. Those council members in attendance are Rath, Lang, Marmee, sitting in for Hall, Harris, sitting in for Blake, Bub, sitting in for Labutus, Barker, and myself, Fennell. This evening, we will be considering ordinance number 20-28, an ordinance vacating a part of a 16 1/2 foot wide alley as shown on the original plat for the city of Newark as recorded in Plat Book 2, page 4 of the Licking County Plat Records. Said alley is located east of North 4th Street and south of West Church Street. Mr. Moorhead?
Yes, hopefully you saw some of the drawing that goes along with this, but this is a request, and Fred Ernest is here to speak to it as well. The portion of the alley that is inside is actually inside the arcade structure from the south entrance of the arcade here, just behind City Hall, northward to the north garage door, which is kind of at the rear of where Moe's Barbecue is being petitioned to be vacated. And the reason is that Fred has some projects going on to renovate the arcade, and it is needed to be private property as opposed to public property in order to move forward with some of the financing and other things. And I'll let Fred chime in whatever he'd like to say.
Yeah, it was a surprise to us when we saw that the center alley walking from the south entrance behind the Chase building or behind the City Hall going north is still in city ownership. There's apartments over top of it. There's glass roof over top of it. And we can't pull a building permit on property we don't own. So that's why I'm requesting vacating that alley. And Tom Atha, who owns the property on the northwest corner, a little portion of that is an agreement and signed it over to us as well. Questions?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Rath, second by, was that Lang? Thank you. All right, is there any discussion, comments? All right, seeing none, those in favor of moving this on to full council, give me a thumbs up. All right, that passes unanimously. Oh, sorry, I guess I should check. All those opposed, same sign. All right. With that, I'll move on to full council unanimously, and that adjourns the street committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Thank you.
See y'all. Thanks, Fred.
Good night.
Thanks, Fred.